Welcome to the Louisiana Superdome for tonight's NCAA National Championship game between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Michigan Wolverines. And now let's meet the starting lineups. For North Carolina at forward, a 6'6" junior from the Bronx, New York, number 31, Brian Reese. For Michigan at forward, a 6'9" sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 4, Chris Webber. For North Carolina at forward, a 6'8" senior from Roanoke, Virginia, number 34, George Lynch. For Michigan at forward, a 6'6" sophomore from Austin, Texas, number 21, Ray Jackson. For North Carolina at center, a 7-foot junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 00, Eric Montross. For Michigan at center, a 6'9" sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 25, Juwan Howard. For North Carolina at guard, a 6'3" sophomore from Garner, North Carolina, number 21, Donald Williams. For Michigan at guard, a 6'5" sophomore from Plano, Texas, number 24, Jimmy King. For North Carolina at a guard, a 6'4" junior from East Elmhurst, New York, number 14, Derek Phelps. And for Michigan at guard, a 6'8" sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 5, Jalen Rose. And the coaches for North Carolina in his 32nd season, Dean Smith. For Michigan in his 4th full season, Steve Fisher.
If you're looking for more of those little things tonight in the Superdome, Mick told you that Michigan won the flip of the coin, so Michigan's pep band got to play the national anthem. The Wolverines also got the choice of uniforms. But Carolina is on the same bench it was on Saturday when it beat Kansas, and I don't think I have to tell anybody that that's also the bench Carolina was sitting on in 1982 when it won the national championship. Ed Hightower tosses it in the air, and flash bulbs pop throughout the 60,000-plus crowd in the Louisiana Superdome. Michigan controls it. Jackson away to Jalen Rose on the left wing. He works against Brian Reese in the man-to-man. Rose starts out to the middle, goes back now in the middle. He's double-teamed. Got it high post to Juwan Howard. One dribble foul line, dropped it off to Weber. He shoots from the outside, off the front of the rim, knocked outside, and recovered by Lynch, just to the right of the circle. Off quickly to Derek Phelps. Tar Heels on the attack now. In the right corner to Brian Reese. He looks low for Eric Montross. Goes out high to Donald Williams. One dribble to the right, then to Phelps. Down low to Montross. Spins on Juwan Howard. Blocked. Recovered in the lane. Brian Reese tried to put it up. Knocked outside. Ball loose. Goes out of bounds, but out of bounds off Phelps. Montross going inside. Blocked by Juwan Howard and Weber, who point emphatically at each other to acknowledge the block that each helped the other put on the ball. Pressure by Phelps in the backcourt as the ball is inbounded to King. Jackson got it into him. Ray Jackson, of course, the player who was injured early on in the first meeting in Hawaii 14 weeks ago, which Michigan won 79-78 on Jalen Rose follow of a missed Jimmy King shot at the buzzer. Rose on the baseline drive, shots up, no good. Rebounded by George Lynch. That's his second of the ball game. Derek Phelps coming quickly front court, drives right through the top of the circle. Now goes to the basket, up off the glass. It's good, and Carolina leads by a 2-0 score. Derek Phelps, who had hit only one of his last 6 shots over the last 2 NCAA tournament games. On the wing, pass coming out front to King from Jackson. Donald Williams is on King. Now comes to Rose. Derek Phelps on him to Juwan Howard. Donald Williams, a mismatch there with King, Howard rather, the taller of the two. Goes to Jackson. Now to King. Back it comes to Jalen Rose on the left wing, right in front of the Tar Heel bench. To Weber. Now to Jackson. Down inside. Juwan Howard. Blocked from behind by Lynch. And Lynch has got the loose ball. 2-0 Tar Heels. To Williams, down the left sideline. He'll give it out front to George Lynch. Lynch on the drive to the right, up off the glass, no good. Montross with a follow, it's good, and he's fouled by Jimmy King. 4-0 Carolina. Michigan has its first team foul, and Montross will have a chance for the 3-point play.
if the Tar Heels get the ball after missed Michigan shots, they're going to look to run and push tempo. If they get the ball out of the net, then they're going to pick their spots, but they will still run after made field goals. Carolina is successfully so far beating Michigan subtly. It's not great numerical advantages the Tar Heels are gaining, but they are coming up the floor quickly, and Michigan is having to just pick up anybody they can to stop the break as opposed to looking for their individual man-to-man assignments.
Steve Fisher's already gone to his bench, Mick. He inserts Eric Riley, the 7-foot senior from Cleveland, for Chris Webber, and assistant coach Perry Watson is having a face-to-face talk with Webber on the Michigan bench. Montross's free throw is good, and it's 5-0 in favor of Carolina in the first minute and 45 seconds of play. Phelps picking up Jalen Rose in the backcourt, gets it front court across the timeline left side, brings it toward the middle, bounces it now to Juwan Howard against Lynch, well out. Howard trying to move to the left. Lynch cutting him off, forces him to pick up the dribble. Now he goes to Jackson. Jackson moving right side. Brian Reese got his hands up, goes now to Riley, looked inside, will drop it off now to King. King on the left side to Juwan Howard against Lynch. Juwan Howard in the corner, it goes to Jackson. He'll drive the baseline. Whistle, offensive foul on Ray Jackson. His first, team second. 5-0 Carolina, and the first few minutes of play have definitely belonged completely to the Tar Heels.
Boy, Carolina looks relaxed. They're moving quickly without the ball offensively and talking it up and switching on exchanges smoothly defensively.
Steve Fisher and his assistants up off the bench yelling at the defenders as they set up. Donald Williams spinning, shooting, no good. Ball recovered in the lane by Jackson. He gets the outlet to King. Williams will try to shut him off. The layup is no good, and the foul is on Donald Williams. Donald Williams had a good look at the basket on that outside jump shot, but he could not get it to go down, and he commits the team's first personal foul. In the first meeting between these two teams, Donald went 4 of 11 from the field at 15 points. On Saturday, of course, against Kansas, 25 points on 7 of 11 shooting at all of Carolina's three-pointers, 5 of 7, while Michigan went 0 for 4 from three-point range. King at the foul line. He's a 64% shooter, and he puts Michigan on the board for the first time tonight with his first point.
With all the publicity Webber and Rose have gotten, people forget sometimes about what a marvelous athlete and a great basketball sense Jimmy King has.
Webber is coming back into the Michigan lineup, and Riley will sit down. Steve Fisher was more animated on the bench on Saturday night in that semifinal overtime win over Kentucky than I remember seeing him at any time, either in person or on television, and he acknowledged that yesterday. And he is very much into this game at the outset tonight. Phelps has got to get rid of it, and the 5 seconds closely guarded call by Michigan. Jimmy King catching Derek Phelps. Dean Smith up off the bench, and Derek Phelps motions to the bench. Okay, I understand what I didn't do that time and what I should have done. I'll be okay. Jalen Rose across the timeline. 5-2 the score. Carolina with a 3-point lead. Juwan Howard against Lynch. High post pass going to Jackson. He'll come out front, bounce pass to Jalen Rose, dumps it down low to Webber. Webber up with a slam dunk, and it's 5-4. Chris Webber, Michigan's leading scorer, consensus All-American at 19-1. Michigan hustling back to set up defensively. Phelps attacking out front against King. Goes to Donald Williams. He brings Jalen Rose across the top of the circle. Hits Derek Phelps. Phelps working against King. To George Lynch. To Brian Reese. To Donald Williams. He looks low. Now dribbles through the top of the circle. Bounce pass away to George Lynch. Lynch drops it down inside to Brian Reese. Couldn't get the shot. Recovered by Montross. He goes up for the shot. No basket. Foul is called on Michigan, and I believe it is on Ray Jackson. If you heard something that sounded like a shot or lob pop behind us, it was the entrances to one of the aisles falling out of the protective barrier in front of the seats which stretch up behind our broadcast location. And now they're trying to get it picked up and fitted back in, and they're making nearly as much noise with it now as they were when it fell. Jackson's foul is his second, Mick, and that is the third team foul against Michigan. And Jackson is out of the ball game as Michigan has inserted Rob Pelinka, the 6'6 senior from Lake Bluff, Illinois. Montross converts on his free throw. He'll have another shot coming. It is 6-4.
They need Jackson, Michigan does, because of his defensive ability. He's the least publicized of the Fab Five, but very tough in the man-to-man defense.
Montross's next free throw is good also. He got the bounce. He's got 5, and it's 7-4 Carolina. 16.5 minutes left to play first half. Jalen Rose against Phelps across the timeline left side. The double team is coming. They cause Rose to pick up his dribble. Throws it cross court and out of bounds. Carolina forces forces the turnover. Second of the ball game for Michigan. Michigan coming in, averaging about 16 turnovers a game. Carolina forcing 18.
Great anticipation by the heels. Jalen's a left-hand point guard. He likes to bring the ball up the left side. Carolina guessed right and brought the trap over.
Phelps working to the right wing in front of the Michigan bench. Gives it to Reese. Inside to Montross. Turns to the lane. Blocked Weber. Knocked outside. Stolen right back by Brian Reese. And he gets bumped on the play and blocked by Weber. That's number 1 on the Detroit sophomore All-American and the 4th team foul on Michigan. Carolina will get the ball out of bounds. Weber has 88 blocks on the year coming into the game, and already he's put a hand on a couple of Montross attempts down low.
He's going to block some shots. You just have to keep taking it to him.
Phelps inbounds to George Lynch. Now comes to Montross out high. To Phelps on the left side. Alley-oop to George Lynch, who got in behind the Michigan defense. And it is 9 for Carolina as the Heels match their biggest lead of the first 4 minutes. Jalen Rose across the timeline, left sideline. Gets it to Pelinka, bounce pass right back to Rose. He looks to his right, now drives down on the left, puts up the shot off the glass, no good. Reese had his hands on it, couldn't control it. Montross has got it, they give it to Phelps. Phelps coming front court, he'll give it to Donald Williams, down in the right corner, down low to Lynch. Lynch to the baseline, bounced it to Montross, threw it away, and it's out of bounds to Michigan. And with that, we get a horn stopping play as we get an official timeout. So the Tar Heels have dominated play early and hold a 5-point lead after 4.5 minutes of play in New Orleans at the Louisiana Superdome.
9-4 early. Carolina leads it. The Tar Heel pep band, about 15 male members of the Carolina pep band, went to Eric Montross's barber this week, and they got the Montross drill sergeant haircut. And if Carolina wins this game, I'm going to get me one. Now, you can call and talk to Coach Dean Smith about tonight's game on the Blue Line Radio Show, heard live on a statewide network every Thursday night between 7 and 8, the Blue Line Radio Show statewide. In the games within the game, Michigan's offense versus Carolina's defense, and then the reverse. The Tar Heel defense is defeating Michigan's offense, holding them to one shot and forcing them to take awkward shots, except for the Chris Webber slam dunk. On the other end, Carolina appears patient and under control offensively. They've turned the ball over twice in an unforced manner. I'm sure Dean Smith addressed that in the huddle. Carolina shooting 3 of 9, Michigan 1 of 5.
Before you think that's such a great sacrifice on Mick Mixon's part, he shaved his mustache earlier this year, so he's made one of the biggest cosmetic changes in his life. Jimmy King picks up the dribble in the backcourt, goes to Juwan Howard. Lynch on him as tight as possible out near the timeline. Howard puts the ball to the floor, gets it right back to King. King holds it high, gets Donald Williams. Now he'll come to the middle on the right-handed dribble. Pushes it away to Pelinka against Sullivan. Now to Juwan Howard to Jalen Rose. Lynch moving on to him, a lot of switching. Pelinka shoots the 3, and it's good. First three-pointer of the Final Four weekend for Michigan. Rob Pelinka shooting 39% from that area. Pulls Michigan within 2. Montross to Sullivan, left side. Looks down low for Lynch, gets it to him. Turns on Juwan Howard, whips it over to Derek Phelps. Phelps one dribble, looks inside, now goes baseline to Lynch. Lynch up off balance, shot goes over the top of Montross. Put up too hard, rebounded by Michigan to Weber. Back to King, now to Jalen Rose. Too far underneath to Pelinka. He shoots another 3, and it's good. Back-to-back threes by Rob Pelinka. Michigan knows that against Carolina's defense, the threes might be there early on if they go down. And the first 2 have. Williams across the top of the circle on the right-handed dribble. The Phelps on the right. He'll drive on King to the baseline. Got caught in traffic. Out to Sullivan. Didn't take it. Donald Williams, left side. Jumper off the front of the rim. No good. Rebounded by Phelps. In traffic. Leaning in. Puts up the shot. No good. Missed a gimme from about 10 feet away. Rebounded by Michigan's King. Michigan in the lead for the first time at 10-9. Here's Weber giving it up to Jalen Rose. He shoots the 3, and it's good. Michigan has buried 3 straight 3-points, 2 by Pelinka, 1 by Jalen Rose, and it's 13-9, Michigan by 4. Lynch, right wing to Williams. Now goes down low to Montross. Jump hook, no good. Rebounded Michigan, and here come the Wolverines on the run. King in the middle to Jalen Rose. Pelinka right side, calling for it to Juwan Howard. Jumper top of the circle, 2 flat. Weber with a rebound, back out to Jalen Rose. Rose will set up the offense. To Weber left side. Montross moving out on him. Weber goes to his left. On the drive, up off the glass, it's good. Weber knocking Sullivan down, didn't get the call on the play. Sullivan did not. 4 points for Weber, 15-9, and just like that, having trailed by 5 at 9-4, Michigan is on an 11-0 run with 13:15 left to play in the first half. Donald Williams driving baseline. Hands it off to Montross, and he misses. misses the dunk, but it hung on the top of the rim, front of the rim, and fell in. I thought he had pulled it out of there on that collapsible rim again, much like last week at the Meadowlands. 15-11. Jalen Rose out front. They make the switch. Rose picks up his dribble, goes to Juwan Howard. Off to Pelinka. Pelinka fakes Montross, drives baseline, puts up the shot, no good. Weber with a follow, scores. And there's a foul called on the play as Lynch, Weber, and Pelinka all go to the floor. They're going to whistle it on George Lynch for pulling Chris Weber down. Basket counts by Weber. It's his 6th point. And Lynch is charged with his first personal second-team foul. Reese, Rodel, and Salvadori in as Williams, Lynch, and Montross go out.
One of Michigan's real motifs is how they read missed shots so well. They do a great job of anticipating where their misses are going to come off, and then they hurry to occupy that spot.
Michigan 3 of 4 from three-point range. Carolina 0 for 1. Chris Weber at the line. The free throw is good. Whistle. Well, Juwan Howard pulled Salvadori down. The whistle sounded, but it was to let a substitute in the game, and there was no foul on Juwan Howard. Weber with 7 points, and it's 18-11, Michigan by 7. Phelps will bring it front court for Carolina against Jimmy King. Phelps driving straight down the middle, goes all the way to the baseline, back out front to Henrik Rodel. He'll push it away to Brian Reese. Now comes to Sullivan, faking, caught up in the double team, ball knocked away, whistle, foul is on Michigan, and it is on Jimmy King, and that will be number 2 on the Texas sophomore. 15 foul against Michigan. There have been 2 called on King, 2 on Jackson, 1 on Weber. For Carolina, the fouls are Lynch and Williams.
Give you an idea how good a defender Jimmy King is. He's got 56 steals on the year, and that leads the Wolverines.
Henrik Rodel inbound from the sideline to Salvadori against Eric Riley, who's come back in. Now to Sullivan out high. Now goes to Brian Reese. Reese faking, can't get the shot away against Pelinka to Rodel. He'll give it up to Phelps now. Tried to bounce it down low, knocked away by Howard, out of bounds. It'll belong to Carolina. Well, Carolina, a couple of 5-point leads in the early going, and then suddenly the threes by Pelinka and Rose, and the offensive spurt by Chris Weber, and Michigan is on top by 7. Reese faking, hanging in the lane, puts up the shot and gets the bounce over the front of the rim. Brian Reese, 21 double-figure scoring games on the year, needs to be a factor tonight, and Howard on the run gets the basket and gets fouled, according to Jim Stupin, by Kevin Salvadori. Foul on Salvadori is first, 13 foul Carolina. Howard gets his first basket and will have a chance for Michigan's second 3-point play.
Now, Juwan Howard, who's the 5-man, the center on Michigan, dribbling right through the Tar Heel defense and penetrating the defense, breaking Carolina down, and then hitting the leaner and getting fouled. Good job by Juwan Howard. Somebody's got to pick him up.
Michigan has missed its first 3 shots, and then Bob Woodruff, our statistician, points out that the Wolverines have hit 7 of their next 10. Substitution for Michigan, Michael Talley, who has not played at all in the last 2 games. He was a senior who started 43 of 58 games in 91-92 and has now been relegated to just 8 minutes on average, is in the lineup, and the free throw is good by Howard. He's got the 3-point play, and it's 21-13, Michigan by 8. Carolina trailed early in Hawaii against the Wolverines, but came back. Salvadori to Rodel. Michigan had an 11-point lead against Kentucky with 13.5 minutes left to play in the game. Here's Reese in the lane. Up off the glass, too hard with it. Rebounded by Riley. Reese stuck a hand in, couldn't knock it away. The outlet to Rose on the right side. Give it in the middle of Pelinka, stolen by Rodel. He'll give it up to Phelps. Phelps going down against Riley. Tried to bounce it back. Riley, loose ball, picked up by Jalen Rose. Got it to Talley. Over it comes to Howard. Howard against Salvadori, gets the layup. 5 points for Howard, 23-13. Michigan's biggest lead of 10. 19-4, Michigan run. Henrik Rodel left side to Brian Reese. Holds it behind his head, goes right back to Rodel in front of the Michigan bench. Bounces inside to Lynch. He got double teamed, spins to the baseline, tried to lay it up. No good. Salvadori with the follow inside, and he got fouled on the play. 2 shots coming for Kevin Salvadori. Ed Hightower, the referee tonight, making the foul call on Jimmy King. No, maybe it was Eric Riley. 42 rather than 24. Eric Riley, the guilty party, his first, and the team's 6th. Juwan Howard goes out. Second team All Big Ten selection this year. Weber is back in for Michigan. Salvadori with 2 shots. Free throw is good. Now they're saying the foul was on Juwan Howard and not Eric Riley. Still the team 6. Salvadori's first free throw is good. He'll have another one coming. This one is good also. 23-16, and now we're going to get another break in the action. So the momentum in this game has switched. First it was Carolina, then it was Michigan, and it's still the Wolverines at the Louisiana Superdome. A 19-6 Michigan spurt has given the Wolverines an 8-point lead at 23-15, and this is a broadcast authorized by the National Collegiate Athletic Association through Host Communications, Lexington, Kentucky. It's intended solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of it without the expressed written consent of the NCAA, Host Communications, Village Sports, and WCHL Radio in Chapel Hill is prohibited. Michigan hit 3 straight threes to give them some breathing room, and they blocked a couple of Tar Heel shots early. It looks as though Carolina is changing the trajectory of their shots now, shooting the ball a little bit more clumsily for fear of having those shots rejected again by Michigan. Obviously, you can't worry about that. You have to shoot a shot that will go in if it is not blocked. Carolina shooting 5 of 17, 29%. Michigan 8 of 14, 57%. Carolina starting front line of Montross, Lynch, and Reese, a combined 4 of 13 here in the first 9 minutes of play. Carolina in the zone. Michigan works it to the left side to Riley. Back out front to Rose to Palenka. Now on the right side. Holds it high against Rodel. High post to Weber. Bounce pass inside to Juwan Howard. Put it on the floor. Lost it. Recovered by Carolina. All right, went inside to Riley rather than Howard. 4 turnover by Michigan. Calabria down against Talley. Gets it to Brian Reese. Looks inside. Whips it away to George Lynch. Wide open left side. Behind the Michigan defense. That's only a second field goal, and it's 23-17. The Michigan lead is 6. Riley, left wing to Rose. Looking low for Weber. Montross behind him. Gives it in the corner to Palenka. Gets it right back now to Talley. Talley goes to Rose. Now it's off to Palenka. Lynch on him hard on the perimeter. Now out front to Rose. He'll give it to Talley. They look inside. Weber's down low. Moving out in front of Montross now to Jalen Rose. He gets it inside to Weber. Weber. Layup good, and he gets fouled on the play by Lynch. And that's number 2 on George Lynch. George Lynch charged with his second, 4th team foul, and Chris Weber, who missed his first shot, was taken out of the game. Appeared to be getting a very, very heated talk from assistant Perry Watson. Comes back and hits his next 4 shots and will have a chance for his second 3-point play of the ball game. 25-17, 10-10 to play first half. Weber, who's only a 55% free throw shooter, is at the line. Weber is like a George Lynch, only even more heavily muscled. Missed the free throw, rebounded by Lynch. Fake the outlet to Phelps. Talley was hanging back to prevent Phelps from handling the ball immediately. Lynch off to Phelps now. Phelps will bring it right through the center jump circle here on this portable playing floor at the Louisiana Superdome. To Reese on the left side against Palenka, moving down left of the lane. Bounced it to Montross, turns, jump hook, baseline, no good. Fell out the front, rebounded by Howard, who's back in the lineup for Michigan. Stolen by Phelps on the outlet to Rose. Phelps coming down on the left, drives in, fakes, puts up the shot off balance, and got fouled. The push is on Juwan Howard. Phelps goes down, but he's back up and all right. The foul on Howard will be his second. It came as a result of Michigan's 5th turnover. The team foul is the 7th against the Wolverines. Salvadori is coming back for Carolina as Derek Phelps, who is a 68% free throw shooter, goes to the line.
Yeah, that's a one ace in Carolina's hole right now, is that they are in the bonus, and there is plenty of time left in the first half. 9 minutes and 42 seconds.
Derek Phelps, the left-hander from East Elmhurst, New York. Puts the first one up, and it's good. That's his 3rd point. He'll have another one coming. Derek Phelps a year ago led the ACC in steals with 78. He's got 79 already this year, and he is 9 behind teammate George Lynch. Next free throw is no good. Rebounded Salvadori. Gets the outlet to Brian Reese. Reese faking Talley on the drive. Feeds away to George Lynch. Falls away and scores right over the top of Weber. Lynch with 6, and it's 25-20. Carolina cuts Michigan's 10-point lead in half. Rose left wing against Donald Williams, who's back in the lineup. Rose in the corner. Jump shot, Palenka for 3. No good. Salvadori with a rebound. Gets it to Phelps, left side. Tar Heels move quickly front court. Phelps against Talley. Bounces inside to Lynch. He moves on Weber. Tried to spin away. Throws it up. No good. Rebounded by Palenka. Lynch was off balance. Bad shot. I'm not sure if it was a shot or a pass, but it will count probably as a shot. Rose will give it out front to Talley, trying to penetrate. Jump pass to Pelinka. Back out front to Talley. The little point guard moves to the midcourt area. Will drop it to Jalen Rose, who's now at the wing guard. He'll push it away to Weber. Salvadori on Weber out in the midcourt area. Bounce pass to Rose. In the corner it goes to Talley. Down low to Howard. Intercepted by Carolina. Phelps plucked it out of the air for the 6th turnover committed by Michigan. To Brian Reese. Reese to the lane. Fingertip roll is no good. And the foul is called on Michigan's Chris Weber. And that's number 2. So you've got 4 Michigan players with 2 fouls each already in the first half. King, Jackson, Howard, and Weber. And that's the 8th team foul against the Wolverines as Carolina goes back to the line.
It might not look all that pretty when Carolina slashes to the hole and if shots get blocked or if they do not go in. Yet these fouls are starting to mount up, and Carolina is connecting from the free throw line. It is part of the Tar Heel game plan. Hurry the ball up court, look for that inside opportunity, and hope you get fouled.
That is the call for box out by Steve Fisher in front of the Michigan bench, who's in his 4th full year, looking for his 100th career victory tonight, and Brian Reese got the bounce. That ball went in. You heard it rattle around. It looked like it was going to fall out on the right, and then it stayed down in there for Reese's 3rd point. He'll have another shot coming. Carolina from the line, 7 of 8.
Tight rims in this building.
Next free throw by Reese is clearly through. He's got 4. Sullivan is coming back. Reese will go out. Ray Jackson is back for Michigan. And Rob Pelinka is going out. 8:38 to play, first half. Carolina has cut Michigan's 10-point lead down to 3. Carolina led early on a couple of occasions by as many as 5. Weber inbounds to Jalen Rose. Now Rose coming front court against Phelps. Comes back to the right. Started to spin away. Now goes on the wing to Riley. Riley with Montross on him. Well out. Riley picking up his dribble in a bit of trouble. Got it to Jackson. He fumbled it. The trap is there. Jackson dribbles around it to the left. Gets it to Jalen Rose. They look down inside. Williams down at the low post is fronting Chris Weber. What a mismatch size-wise that is. Now they feed it inside to Weber. Weber turns to the lane. Puts up the shot. No good. Follow inside. No good. Knocked off the glass by Montross. Recovered Sullivan. Off it goes to Donald Williams. Williams down on the right side. Pulls up. Shoots the 3. Good. And the score is tied at 25. He shot that with a defender hanging all over him from out of the right corner. 7:53 to play in the first half. Jalen Rose flips it inside. Almost knocked away, and the foul is on Sullivan. Pat Sullivan whistled by Tom Harrington. First on Sullivan, 5th team foul, Carolina. Michigan should get the ball at the baseline. But right now, we're going to get another break in the action. So there's timeout on the floor. 7:49 to play in the first half, and we've got another tie score. Michigan's 10-point lead has evaporated. Carolina 25, Michigan 25.
Well, the Tar Heels got challenged. They were down 10 at the 11:28 mark at 23-13, and the Heels have not panicked. Since then, it has been a 12-2 Carolina run to tie the score at 25 of 25. The Tar Heels were 3 of their first 13 shooting. Since then, they're 5 of their last 9. For 8 of 22, 36%, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. That was one of our main pregame keys. Carolina has to shoot those free throws well, and so far they've done so. 89%. Michigan 4 of 5 from the line, 45% or 80% from the foul line, shooting 9 of 18 overall, 50%.
Timeouts in NCAA tournament games are long, and Coach Smith already had the Tar Heels back out on the floor, and he was spending a little time over in front of the scorer's table where Duke Athletic Director Tom Butters, the basketball committee chairman, former Virginia coach Terry Holland, now the Davidson Athletic Director, and a number of other committee members are seated. They were engaged in conversation, I'm sure, about the length of the timeout, and whatever Coach Smith was saying, the committee members were laughing.
He never stops coaching.
Jackson gets it over to King. King lobs it inside to Riley, gets it right back. He'll try to drive to the middle. Coach Smith down in the far end of the Carolina bench talking to his defense. Outside shot for 3 is good by Jimmy King. So Michigan has got 4 3-pointers tonight. King is a 41% shooter from that range and 6 of 13 in the NCAA tournament. Now make him 7 of 14. 28-25 Michigan. Sullivan to Phelps. Looks low for Montross. Will come top of the circle to Donald Williams. Williams against Jalen Rose to Sullivan on the right. Down low to Montross with Riley behind him. King helping out, doubling down. Cross-court pass comes to Williams. Now out to Phelps. Shot clock is down to 20. Salvadori. Pat Sullivan. Jump shot from the left is good. Short jumper by Sullivan. His first bucket of the ball game. 28-27. Carolina down 1. Rose Brings it timeline left side. Picks up his dribble. The bounce pass away to Jackson in the corner to Weber. Drives baseline. Montross is there. Weber underneath. Feeds to Rose in the corner. Coach Smith trying to indicate that Weber was using the elbow to get people off of it. To King, the jumper from the corner. No good. They knock it away. Weber recovers. Gets it out to Jalen Rose. He calls the number 1 play for the gold-shirted Wolverines. To Jackson down inside to Weber. Knocked away. Recovered, however, by Jackson. Jackson along the wing in trouble, and 5 seconds closely guarded by Salvadori, and veteran assistant Bill Guthridge is up off the Carolina bench and punctuating the air with a right fist.
A great job off the ball by Sullivan and Phelps to anticipate the passing arteries that might be available and then tie them off quickly.
Steve Fisher pleading at the other end with Jim Stupin, the umpire, to no avail about that call. Carolina inbounds the ball. Lynch gets it to Phelps, and Coach Smith walks right to the edge of the coach's box and gives him the call. 6:15 left to play first half. Phelps working left side. Goes back to Lynch. Lynch looked off Rodel on the right to Reese. Now it comes to Phelps. Phelps looks down low for Montross to the baseline to Rodel. Cross court on the right side to Reese. He'll go to Lynch. Weber playing well off of him. Lynch in one step, then the jump shot. No good. Lynch follows up his own shot and lays it in. Weber just gave up on the play, and Lynch has got 8, and Carolina retakes the lead 29-28. Jackson holding high against the zone in the right corner. Bounce pass away now to King. King on the drive against Lynch. Lynch forces him back up the sideline. He turns, goes back to the baseline, dumps down low to Weber. Weber puts up the shot, no good. Rebounded by Lynch. Lynch gets the outlet to Phelps. Phelps pushes it front court on the left side. Bounce pass to Rodel. Works inside. Reverse layup is good by Henrik Rodel. 31-28 Carolina. And the Tar Heel fans are on their feet in the Superdome cheering, while the Wolverine fans have grown suddenly quiet. Rose down the left sideline to the middle. Blocked away Rodel. Knocked outside. Recovered Lynch. Here come the Heels on the run. Lynch down against Weber. Takes it in. Puts it up. No good. They knock it outside. Picked up by Jackson. King rather. King stolen by Derek Phelps before he could get across the timeline. Here's Phelps handing it off to Rodel. He fumbled it. Recovered at the baseline. Will shoot it to Montross. Now to Brian Reese. He works baseline. Hanging in the air. Shots up. No good. They knock it around. Out of bounds. Went off Carolina. Off George Lynch, and Brian Reese turns to Tom Harrington and pleads for a foul. Says they were hacking him on the arm is why that shot didn't go down.
Still a terrific flurry by the Tar Heel defense, and Derek Phelps with the steal in the open court, and Carolina hard on that offensive glass.
4:50 left to play first half. Rose against Phelps. Angle dribble. Left side. On the wing to Howard. Howard against Lynch. Trying to protect the ball. Now coming out front. Gets it to Jalen Rose on the right side against Phelps. Now he'll drive down to the baseline. Call away shot is good. Left-handed Jalen Rose. Second field goal. 31-30 Carolina. 4.5 minutes left to play first half. Rodel down low to Montross. Lost the ball, went out of bounds, out off Weber, says Jim Stupin, the umpire, and it will belong to Carolina. Salvadori and Williams are coming back in. Phelps will get a break in the action, and Lynch will also go to the bench for a breather. Perry Watson, the assistant, Coach Jalen Rose at Southwestern High. In his second year as an assistant coach, he does an awful lot of the bench coaching for Michigan during the course of a game. He was actually standing for a while in front of the head coach. Donald Williams for 3. Short, off the rim. Loose ball picked up in the lane, and Montross fell over Weber, or rather over King, trying to get out of there. First personal foul, rather, on Eric Montross. 6th team foul called against Carolina. I don't believe there will be free throws. They had the ball at the other end, thinking that we're this far into the first half, and surely it had to be the bonus already for Michigan, but it is not. They'll go back to the other end, and we'll play it off the baseline. That is the voice of umpire Tom Harrington telling Juwan Howard to stand on the spot. Howard's got to get the ball in. Did to King with Rodel hanging back to bother him. King will get it across the timeline now. Gets it to Weber, left wing against Montross, out to the middle. Picks up his dribble, drops it to Juwan Howard. Howard caught up in the double team to Weber, almost knocked away by Reese to King. Fakes Williams, too far underneath. Loose ball in the lane, recovered Weber off the glass, no good. Montross with the rebound, stolen and scored by King. Jimmy King scoops up the loose ball and gets his 7th point at the baseline. Reese outside to Rodel, takes the 3, no good. Reese with a rebound, and the reach-in is called on Jalen Rose. And that will be his first personal foul and the 9th team foul on Michigan. A 1-and-1 coming for the Tar Heels with 3:42 left to play in the half. And what's coming in halftime, Nick Mixon?
Going to talk to Kenny Smith, former Tar Heel, and also we're going to get Eddie Fogler on the line, or try to anyway. Eddie's in the process of moving his family from Nashville to Columbia.
And I think had a news conference today in Nashville to talk about leaving the Commodores to go with the Gamecocks. Brian Reese at the free throw line. 2 for 2 tonight, make him 3 of 3. 32-32, score tie. Brian Reese will have another shot at the next opportunity. We'll pause for station identification down the line, so stand by. Brian Reese, a 66% free throw shooter, arches this one up, and it's good also. And Carolina retakes the lead. There's a timeout on the floor here at the Louisiana Superdome. 3:42 left to play in the first half with the score. Carolina 33, Michigan 32.
Michigan still shooting 50%, Carolina shooting 37%. And you might not know it to read about these two teams, but they're amazingly similar. Their personalities off the court are not, but from a tactical standpoint, Michigan and Carolina do a lot of the same things. In fact, Michigan is even more set play oriented offensively than the Tar Heels are.
Over in Hawaii in late December, both teams shot poorly in the first half, and then both teams shot 53.8% in the second half in that 1-point Michigan victory. Bounce pass, Rose, down the sideline to King. King against Donald Williams, out front to Howard. Howard against Salvadori, whips a pass over to Jackson. Then it goes to Jalen Rose, dropped it off to Howard and got knocked away. Went out of bounds. Tom Harrington says off Howard. It's Carolina's ball. 3:23 to play first half. Carolina leading by 1. 10th Michigan turnover of the first half. Phelps just a step or two inside the front court, indicating the offense. Now he moves to set it up. Goes to Salvadori, top of the circle. Donald Williams against Jalen Rose. Now Donald Williams to the baseline, shooting on the move and scoring from about 10 feet away down that right baseline. Williams with 5, 35-32 Carolina. In the corner it goes, and we get a whistle and a foul called on Brian Reese of Carolina. He tried to stop the progress of Ray Jackson on the drive, and his whistle for his first 7th-team foul, so 1-and-1 coming for Michigan. Ray Jackson, of course, is the defensive stopper who missed 7 games after dislocating his left shoulder in the first minute of play against Carolina in that Rainbow Classic semifinal game. He's scoreless thus far tonight.
He's the son of a high school track coach. Donald Williams is one of the better on-the-move shooters that I've ever seen. A lot of jump shooters need their legs up under them. They need to land on the same spot they take off from in order to shoot well, not Donald. Ray Jackson, who doesn't have a field goal in this ball game and is working on a streak of 5 double-figure scoring games in a row, gets his first point at the free throw line. 35-33. Next free throw is good. It's 35-34. And Ed Hightower, the referee, has stopped play, checking at the scorer's table. Coach Smith was hollering something down the sideline toward the scorer's table, and I don't know what it was, but everybody over there is laughing. I think he gets irritated when that horn is not blown quickly enough to get a substitute in the ball game. That may very well be what it was, although I don't believe anybody came in, did they, Mick? No, and no one at the scorer's table. Phelps coming back toward the middle against Jackson. He'll push it now, rather against King. He'll give it to Williams. Williams over to Brian Reese in the right corner to Phelps, baseline, down inside to Montross. Caught in the double team, back out to Williams. Williams will push it to Brian Reese. Reese drives baseline. He can't get through. Jump pass to Phelps in the lane. Phelps puts it to the floor and falls away and scores with a left hand. Wow. Derek Phelps with 5, and it's 37-34 Carolina. 2:15 to play first half. Across the timeline, Rose on the left against Phelps. Right in the Carolina bench area. Wing pass to Jackson. Back out front to Rose. Goes by the Howard pick at the top of the circle. Now gets it to Rose. Loops across court to Jackson. Jackson's shot is up and no good. Rebounded by Howard. He hooks it up off the, or Riley rather. That's Eric Riley, not Juwan Howard, who hooked it off the right baseline and scored. 37-36. Michigan pulling back to within 1. Down low to Montross. Tried to lay it up and got fouled from behind by Jackson. Montross had gotten in behind the Michigan defense. Phelps spotted him, and when Jackson recovered, he thought he had a clean block, but he gets whistled for his 3rd personal foul and the 10th team foul against Michigan. Well, the Michigan fans are irate because Montross, in setting up at the low post, decked Eric Riley. I mean, just floored him when he ran into him. And that was why he got in behind the Michigan defense. At it's such a little thing, but to have the command of the basketball, to dribble with your head up and eyes open, even if you're being closely guarded, Derek Phelps has got the ability to see things like that. In a flash, Riley's down, Montross is open, and since Derek is looking up, he can deliver the ball.
Eric Montross, 4 of 4 on the night, 38-36. He is 43 of 56 at the free throw line of the NCAA tournament. And he gets the next one as well. Well, Matt Wenstrom is coming into the ball game. He saw action at the end very briefly on Saturday against Kansas. 39-36. Carolina back in the zone with Wenstrom in the middle. They needed to rest Montross for a while, and they leave Salvadori in the lineup. Out front, Williams and Phelps. Across the back, Sullivan, Wenstrom, and Salvadori. Rose gets the ball now to James Boskel, who's come in the game for the first time. Pelinka to Rose. Shot from the corner. Went in. Popped out. Rebounded by Phelps. Here comes Carolina on the run. Phelps left side. The angle dribble to the top of the circle against Rose. Back to the left. Now to Wenstrom. To Sullivan. Sullivan puts it to the floor against Boskel. Got to get rid of it. Got it to Phelps near the midcourt line. Phelps well out on the right. Shot clock is at 30. Game clock's at 1:10 to play in the first half. Derek Phelps working to the right side against Jalen Rose. Now to the sideline in front of a standing Steve Fisher. To Sullivan in the corner. He'll give it right back to Phelps. Shot clock's at 15. Here's Phelps right side. Bounce pass to Sullivan. They look for Salvadori. Now off to Donald Williams. Shooting on the move. Got it! A three from the right wing. Donald Williams, his second of the ball game. 42-36 with less than 40 seconds to play right now in the first half. There's about a 3 or 4 second differential with the shot clock. Rose whipping it baseline to Riley. Fall away shot clock. Salvadori. Phelps scoops it up. Phelps cross court to Donald Williams. Williams left side. Picks up his dribble. Bounces inside. Salvadori stripped to the ball at the baseline. Went out of bounds off Michigan's Jalen Rose. It'll belong to Carolina with 20 seconds left in the half. 42-36 Carolina. The Tar Heels have not lost all year when leading at the half. Michigan, on the other hand, when trailing at the half, is 4-2.
This is such an important 20 seconds here, Woody, that the Tar Heels are bringing Eric Montross back off of the bench.
Tom Harrington hands Derek Phelps the ball at the baseline. He looks, they scatter, he gets in midcourt area to Salvadori. Shot clock is off. He'll push it away to Montross. Pelinka trying to deny Phelps the ball. Goes to Brian Reese. 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds. Brian Reese on the dribble drive to Phelps. He shoots the three. No good, too strong. Rebounded Howard with 6-5 off to Jalen Rose. Rose coming down on the right side, drives to the middle. Feeds Boskel, he missed the shot. No good. And the teams head for the dressing room. Carolina led early on a couple of occasions by 5. Michigan went in front by 10 at the 11:28 mark. Carolina wiped that out and goes to the locker room ahead by 6.
We're at halftime of the Superdome, and thanks for the company on National Championship night. Wherever you're listening tonight, we appreciate it, and hang on. 20 more minutes to come for the championship.
Carolina gets the ball in. Hightower hands it to Donald Williams, and the final 20 minutes of the season are underway. Carolina with a 6-point lead at 42-36. It's amazing, all of the flash bulbs going off here in the Superdome as play commences. Inside to Eric Montross, and he got the bounce on the jump hook right over the top of Chris Webber, and it's 44-36 as Montross now has 11. Howard gets it over on the side to Jimmy King. King down low to Webber. Webber banks it off the glass, good from the low post. Chris Webber with his 11th point of the game. 44-38. Derek Phelps coming front court, bounces down low to Montross, spins the lane, hooks it up over the top of Webber, no good. Howard with a rebound. Now gets it out to Jackson. Jackson down the right side, goes in the corner to King. King spins to the baseline, drives, shoots on the move, and scores. Jimmy King for his 9th point. Right over the top of Derek Phelps that time. 44-40. Michigan cuts the Carolina lead quickly to 4. Michigan fans are coming to their feet here in the Superdome, trying to urge their gold-shirted Wolverines on. Williams gives it up to Phelps, bounces down low to Reese. Brian Reese into the lane, leaning in, lost the ball, recovered Michigan off to Jalen Rose. Down against Derek Phelps, scoops it up, it wouldn't go. Rebounded, however, by Juwan Howard. He puts it up, no good, and George Lynch comes down with it. Lynch looking for the outlet. He'll get it to Derek Phelps. Michigan missed 2 crip shots that time. Here's Derek Phelps moving left side. In the corner it goes to Brian Reese. To Montross. Montross turning up off the glass. No good. And Reese follows in the first half, and it is 46-40. Carolina matches its 6-point halftime lead. Jalen Rose on the drive through the lane, feeds it off to King rather. King shot's no good. Knocked outside by Reese, picked up by Lynch. Lynch will give it to Donald Williams, left side. Donald cannot spot up for the long outside shot. To Phelps, to Montross, flips it back out to Brian Reese. Reese top of the circle, moving out on him now is Jackson. He'll give it up to Lynch on the wing, down low to Phelps. Phelps spins baseline, can't get through. Forced back outside, goes inside to Montross, up over the top of Weber, and he bites it off the glass. Good. Eric Montross. Now with 13, including 2 quick buckets here in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Lynch knocks it away on the low post pass intended for Howard, but he steps on the end line out of bounds. And with that, the horn sounds. Pat Sullivan and Henrik Rodel are coming in as Brian Reese and Donald Williams go out for Carolina. Kevin Salvadori is also in for Montross. 17:45 remaining to be played in this championship game. Michigan here for the second straight year, making its second trip to the Final Four in successive years. Carolina here for a second time in 3 years, but in the championship game for only the first time since 1982. A game that Carolina won over Georgetown right here in the Louisiana Superdome. Jalen Rose, high post to Juwan Howard. Lindstrom on him, who just came in. Matt Lindstrom and Salvadori, the 2 big guys in the lineup right now. Back to King, comes back to Rose, over to Jackson. Rose will get it right back. Now he gives it high post to Howard. Howard feeds it right back to Jalen Rose. Drives, baseline, shoots, scores, left-handed. Jalen Rose shooting on the move. He now has 7, and it's 48-42. Phelps front court for the Tar Heels to Rodel on the left wing in front of the Tar Heel bench. And we get a whistle and a foul called on Jalen Rose of Michigan off the ball as he was holding up Henrik Rodel. Rodel made the pass, started cutting through, and the foul on Rose is his second first-team foul on Michigan.
Jalen is the son of a former Providence College All-American and NBA guard Jimmy Walker. He's got a tattoo on his body. The boss is what's tattooed on there.
Kevin Salvadori taking the inbounds pass midcourt area to Phelps. Down inside to Lindstrom. Lindstrom against Weber. Spins but started up with it. Blocked by Weber. He gets it away to Jackson. Now intended for Rose. Rodel tried to make the steal and couldn't save it. At the sideline, right in front of the scorer's table, but what an effort by Rodel. And he gets wildly applauded by the Carolina fans in the Superdome. Williams is coming back along with Lynch and Montross. Boy, that was something. Goes to Lindstrom at the low post, and he starts to post up on Chris Weber, the consensus All-America.
It's Matt's last game. He's not going to leave anything over there on the bench.
Jackson will inbound right in front of the scorer's table where it was knocked out of bounds by Rodel. Get it to Rose. Carolina's in the zone now, showing the point zone, 1-3-1. Jackson to Rose. Alley-oop, intercepted or knocked away Lynch. Trying to run it down, knocked away Weber, then off Carolina out of bounds. It'll belong to Michigan.
A great job by Lynch to anticipate that alley-oop and fight around Weber and jump up there to tap it.
Jackson inbounds the ball to Juwan Howard. Gets it inside to Weber. Weber moving on Rodel for the layup. Montross got there late from behind. 2 field goals, second half for Chris Weber, 11 points. 48-44, Carolina by 4. Rodel across the timeline, gets it to Lynch, coming right down the lane. He feeds Montross. Montross back out front to Rodel. To Sullivan. Sullivan gives it to Donald Williams. Spots up, takes the jumper. Good for 3. Donald Williams shooting as well on the move at this stage of the year than he has all year. Down low to Howard. Moving inside, dumps it off to Jackson, and it's up and good. Give me King rather than Jackson. 51-46, Carolina by 5. Rodel just now across the timeline against King. He'll go to Sullivan, down low to Montross, back out front to Williams. Williams against Rose, to Rodel, to Pat Sullivan, puts it to the floor, drives into the lane, tried to drop it to Montross, went out of bounds off Weber, and Weber hits the deck hard, and he's down. Chris Weber going down hard at the baseline, trying to get up, is on his knees. Looked like he might have hit his head on the portable floor, and as he goes down, I think we get a break in the action. We do. Carolina leading by 5. Just under 16 minutes left to play in this NCAA championship game at the Louisiana Superdome.
The lead has been as many as 8 this half at 48-40. It now stands at 5, 51-46. Carolina on 4 of 7 shooting this half, 57%. Michigan's also hot, 5 of 8, 63%. And Chris Webber is such an unbelievable athlete at 6'9", 245 pounds. He holds off as well or pins defenders behind him better than anybody I've seen in person since Adam Keefe of Stanford. And at one point as an 8th grader, Chris Webber had 63 points and 15 dunks in a youth league game. He is a do-it-all pivot man.
Right now he's on the bench being attended to by the Michigan trainer. He was run into by Pat Sullivan on Sullivan's drive, and as he went down, didn't appear that he took that hard a fall, but apparently must have hit his head on the portable playing floor. Phelps inbounds to Lynch out in the midcourt area. Carolina in possession of the ball with a 5-point lead. Phelps against Rose. Ball knocked away. Phelps recovers baseline. Dumps it back out to Reese. Quickly to George Lynch. Can't get the shot away against Riley. They feed Williams. Michigan getting on him quickly. Williams shooting a jump shot hanging. He dribbled in just right of the lane and made the hanging jump shot. Williams now with 13 points in the ball game, and it's 53-46 Carolina. Right over the top of Jalen Rose goes the pass caught by Jimmy King. I don't know if he was the intended receiver or not. Here's Jackson shooting from the outside for 2. Ray Jackson, that's his first field goal of the game, and he's averaging 9 per contest. Now has 4 points in the game. 53-48. Down low, whistle, and a travel called on Derek Phelps by referee Ed Hightower. Second turnover of the half by the Tar Heels. Carolina in the first half with only 3 turnovers. That's 5 for the game, and we get a whistle and a timeout taken by Juwan Howard at the baseline. Carolina was double teaming Jalen Rose on the inbound play in the backcourt. Howard couldn't get it in, and so Michigan has to burn one of its allotted 3 timeouts, causing a dead ball. With just over 15 minutes of playing time left in the championship game, and Carolina leading by 5 at the Louisiana Superdome.
As an offensive player, one of the most precious commodities that you have is your dribble. You do not want to pick it up unless you must pick it up. Michigan has a tendency to want to dribble out of trouble. If you trap them, they'll tend to want to dribble around the trap or try to penetrate the trap, as opposed to passing out of trouble like Carolina likes to do. The heel defense, and it's a familiar theme you hear from us, but the Tar Heel defense is what's keeping them not only in this game, but it's what has forged this 5-point lead. Carolina's defense against Michigan's offense, plus the Tar Heels' performance from the foul line and the outside shooting of Donald Williams, the reason the Tar Heels are where they are.
Weber's back in the lineup for Michigan. The Wolverines will inbound after the timeout. Howard gets it into Jalen Rose. Carolina was showing a 2-2-1 zone press, but they go right to man-to-man on the inbound. Jalen Rose getting past Phelps. He called for help. Jalen Rose to the baseline up off the glass, and it's good. Took it all the way on Phelps and then turned and said something to him as he starts back up the floor. 53-50, Michigan within 3. Reese, left wing to Donald Williams. Down inside to Lynch, fakes Weber, can't get the shot away. Pushes it back out to Donald Williams. Comes into the middle, can't get the shot away, needs some help. Got to get rid of it, stolen by Weber. Weber will get the dunk at the other end. And it is 53-52. Weber pulling himself up on the rim as he brings the Wolverines within 1. Coach Smith up off the Carolina bench now. He did not like that last turn of events. Derek Phelps, top of the circle against Rose, bounce it inside to Lynch. Ball knocked away, went out of bounds. It'll belong to Carolina, says umpire Tom Herring.
Well, it's the most curious thing. It is specifically in the rules that you're not to hang on the rim except to avoid injury, and you can't use it to gain additional elevation on your leap. The committee will address it next year, I'm sure.
Phelps out front against Jalen Rose. Turns, goes to his left, kept the dribble alive to Brian Reese. Reese works against Jackson out front to Williams. Now to Phelps. They look down low inside. Phelps to the baseline, lost control of it. Double team, bounced it up the sideline to Lynch. One dribble, then to Brian Reese. Now gets it to Derek Phelps. Phelps cutting to the middle. Feeds George Lynch, goes to Donald Williams. Loops it inside to Montross. Fumbled it, recovered, went up for the shot, and he got fouled by Jackson, and that's his 4th. Or wait a minute, let's be sure. Jackson was protesting, but he may have been protesting on behalf of a teammate. No, it is on Jackson, and it is his 4th. Second team foul against Michigan in the half. Jackson will go to the bench with 13:57 remaining to be played in the ball game. And Carolina leading by 1 as Montross goes to the stripe for the 4th time tonight. Converted a 3-point play and then has made
2 free throws on 2 other opportunities. First one is up, and it is no good. Hit the back of the rim. First miss of the night. He'll have another one coming. In Hawaii, he had one of his 7 double-doubles on the year against the Wolverines. 14 points, 10 rebounds. So did George Lynch. 12 points, 16 rebounds. He makes the next one. He's now got 14 points, and it's 54-52 Carolina. Jalen Rose just now across the timeline against Derek Phelps. Coming to the left side. Picks up his dribble now, looking inside for Juwan Howard. Goes to Pelinka. He pushes it down low to Weber. Lynch knocks it away, and Harrington calls the foul. Tom Harrington does on George Lynch. That's his 3rd. First team foul Carolina, and Lynch is the first Tar Heel to get a 3rd personal. Comes with 13:42 remaining to be played.
Can't believe they're going to be shot. No, there won't be shots here. It looked like it for a moment.
Rob Pelinka will inbound off the baseline for Michigan. Got to get it inbounds. Finally got it in the corner to Howard against George Lynch. Started up the sideline, keeping his dribble alive. Now picks it up, lobs it over the top of Derek Phelps to Chris Weber. Weber starts back down the sideline now, pushes it out front to King. King will try to drive on Rodel. Feeds Rose on the left side. High post to Howard. One dribble, jumper, block, Montross. Lynch is down with it. Double teamed in the backcourt. Got to get rid of it. Looped it to Rodel. Down the sideline on the left, it goes to Phelps. He'll pull up, give it to the trailing Rodel. He's open for 3. It's no good. Rebounded by Weber. The outlet to Rose. Michigan can tie or take the lead with a 3. Rose on the left side against Derek Phelps. Goes to Pelinka. Pelinka dumps down inside to Weber on the right. He turns, jump pass to Jimmy King. King will dribble into the left corner against Derek Phelps. Now starts to drive to the middle. Looped it off to Weber. Ball loose. Scooped up by Weber. No good. Followed by Howard. Is no good. Knocked out of bounds. And it went out of bounds off Montross. And Howard was going over Montross's back, and Montross was backing him out of there, and they exchanged words.
Looked like a good call on who the ball should belong to. Juwan Howard really jawboning in the direction of Eric Montross.
Lynch is out of the game now, along with Brian Reese, as Sullivan comes in with Salvadori. Pelinka will inbound from the baseline. 48-year-old Steve Fisher screaming at his point guard Jalen Rose as Michigan inbounds it. No doubt giving him the offense. Over to Pelinka, right side, 54-52, 12:40 to play. In the corner, down low to Riley, knocked away, recovered by King. King will give it to Rose, and King gets it right back. Drives the baseline, puts up the shot, forced it, no good. Salvadori comes up with a loose ball. Double teamed, he got it to Rodel. Rodel will put the ball to the floor, pushes it across the floor to Sullivan. He gets it to Phelps, drops it off to Sullivan. Short jump shot, no good. Rebounded by Weber. Carolina getting 1 shot, and if it doesn't go down, that's all. Rose, left side, in the corner to Pelinka. He comes back up the sideline on the dribble against Sullivan. Picks it up, now goes to Riley. Riley dropped his arm and moved on Montross, and the foul is called on Montross. Riley put a forearm into Montross's midsection to get him off of him, and then Montross bumped him right back and is charged with his second team foul against Carolina. Donald Williams is coming back for the Tar Heels, and Rodel will go out. It'll be Michigan's ball at the baseline. Juwan Howard, 0 for 2 in this half, 2 for 6 for the game. 54-52, Carolina holding on to that 2-point lead. 12:07 to play in the national championship game. Pelinka from Rose, left side, moves up the sideline. Phelps on him now. Bounce pass away to King. King to Rose, inside to Weber, moving on Montross, up for the shot, he missed it. Montross has got the rebound. Gets it away to Phelps. Phelps right side for Carolina, down, driving on Michigan, loops it up off the glass, and it's good.
Really,
Michigan was a little slow picking him up, and Phelps puts Carolina back in front by 4, 56-52. Riley down low to Weber. Weber spins baseline, lays it up. Carolina defender Donald Williams flattened on the play, but no foul. 17 for Weber. He averages 19. Michigan back within 2. Phelps will give it to Salvadori, to Sullivan. Montross calling for it down low with Riley on his back. Now to Williams, out high on the right. Bounces inside Montross. Turns, forced it up, it didn't go, and the foul is called on... No, it's on Eric Riley. Weber said, is that on me? Foul is on Eric Riley. It's his first and the 3rd team foul against Michigan. Lynch is back, and Salvadori goes out. George Lynch is playing with 3 fouls.
Weber with the ball down low is automatic points.
It hurts Chris that he's not a better free throw shooter because he is the consummate get on the line player.
Weber and Riley talking to Ed Hightower about that call as they have the inside space on the free throw lane with Montross going to the line. Juwan Howard is back and Riley goes out. Howard will come over and no, he's not going to tell him anything. They're just going to swap sides. Howard wants a low spot on the right. Weber will move over, low spot on the left. Montross, 6 of 7 at the foul line tonight. First free throw is up and no good. Front of the rim. He's missed 2 of his last 3. It remains 56-54. Another shot coming for the second team Associated Press All-America. Montross eyes the front of the rim. Arches this one up and it is no good. Fell out of there, rebounded by Weber. He's missed 3 of his last 4 here in the second half. 56-54. Carolina by 2. Michigan with a chance to tie or maybe even take the lead. Rose picks up his dribble, right wing against Derek Phelps. Gives it to Pelinka, coming to get the ball. He hands it right back off to Rose. Rose to the top of the circle. Reese playing well off of him, dribbling left. Off it goes to King. He takes the shot, no good. Rebounded by Phelps. Weber fell into him, loose ball. Pelinka picks it up. Loops it to Jalen Rose. Rose well out on the right, driving by Donald Williams, down the sideline, back to Howard. Howard calling Rose to him. Montross tightens up. He'll just send a half bit off to Jalen Rose. Look away pass to Weber, out of bounds off Weber. Not very often that they catch each other by surprise, but I think he did that time, plus he threw it behind him. First turnover of the half for Michigan.
Michigan's big people are excellent passers. Weber and Howard, both good passers from the pivot at the high, medium, and the low post, and they look for each other frequently.
10:30 to play in the championship game. 56-54 Carolina. Phelps gets it to Reese. Reese holds it high against Pelinka. Looks into his midsection. Weak side pass to Phelps. He circles around. Comes back on the right side to Donald Williams. King's got the defensive job on him. Phelps has it knocked away by King. This will tie the score for Michigan. Slammed by Jimmy King. Boy, he took it way out in that right hand for his 13th point. That ties the score at 56 with 10 minutes to play, and the Michigan fans are on their feet. The Wolverines have wiped out a 6-point Carolina halftime lead. Williams right wing against King to the top of the circle. Looking inside. Player knocked down off the ball. It was Phelps to Salvadori on the right. Hands it off to Reese. Now Lynch gives it back to Phelps on the left side. Phelps against Jalen Rose. He'll give it to George Lynch. Jump shot. Foul line is good over the top of Weber. George Lynch's first field goal of the second half. He's got 10 points. 58-56 Carolina. Rose to Juwan Howard. Lynch on him defensively. Howard using his backside to get Lynch off of him. To Rose, he loops it right back to Howard. Off it goes now to King. King spinning away from Phelps. Down low to Weber. Got by Salvadori. Reverse layup is good. Score tied. Weber with 19. 58-58. 9-10 to play. Phelps down on the left side to the trailing Salvadori. Now to Brian Reese. Reese looked inside, couldn't make the play. Dribbles it back out front. Michigan's defense really playing hard on the perimeter now, trying to deny Carolina outside shot. Williams gets it on the right side to the baseline. Hanging in the air. Shot is no good. Howard had it. Lost it to Pelinka. He was not on the end line. He saved it to Rose. Michigan can lead. Rose down the left side. Keeps the dribble alive. Michigan sets up offensively to Pelinka. Pelinka dribbles across the top of the circle to the right wing. Bounces it to King in the corner. King up the sideline. Gives it to Howard. Alley-oop to Weber for the dunk. Weber with 21. Michigan leads 60-58. Donald Williams has flashed the tired signal to the Carolina bench. Phelps sets up the Carolina offense with 8:20 to play in the ball game. Phelps top of the circle against Jalen Rose. Over to Brian Reese on the left side. Pushes it low to Lynch. Trying to spin away. Gets it to Derek Phelps. Phelps faking Howard. Can't get away the shot. Lynch coming out front. He'll get the ball. Look down low. Goes to Brian Reese. Reese takes the shot. No good. Rebounded by Weber. Weber dumps it over the top of Lynch to Rose. Michigan with the lead on the ball. Rose on the drive to the baseline. Puts it in the corner to King. King can't get away from Derek Phelps. Foul, thought he walked with it. Pelinka fakes. Gets it to Rose. Shot from the corner. No good. Rebounded by Weber. Up against Lynch. He threw it right over the top of the rim. Rebounded Reese out to Williams on the right side. Donald spots up for 3. Got it. Carolina back in front on Williams' fourth three-pointer of the night in 5 attempts. 61-60 Carolina. 7.5 minutes to play. Rose across the timeline. Bounces it to Weber near the midcourt line. Weber trying to get around Salvadori. Moves to the right of the circle. Underhands it to King on the left. Now to Howard. Howard fakes Lynch. Leans into him in the lane. Gets it away now to King on the left side. King, the lane clog, will move back up the left sideline. Now against Derek Phelps, trying to drive to the middle. Is there, pushes it back to Palinka. He fakes Donald Williams in a step to Juwan Howard. Jump shot is good by Juwan Howard. Michigan leads 62-61. Juwan Howard with 7. Phelps down the left sideline for Carolina, and Carolina will use a timeout. It's the first of the ball game for the Tar Heels. So with timeout on the floor, 6:50 to play. 11 years ago, we were just about through when this final score was on the board, but we still got 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go. With a score, Michigan 62, Carolina 61.
Well, 62-61 Michigan, and it's Chris Webber's second half. 6 of 9 this half, and there's not much defense for him, as we pointed out, when he gets the ball established down on the blocks. George Lynch looks very tired trying to defend him, and when Carolina's tried to use different people on him, Webber's been too much for them.
Well, Reese, Lynch, Phelps, Williams are all on the bench right now, trying to get a breather for the stretch run as Cherry, Rodel, Sullivan, Montross, and Salvadori come back out on the floor. Michigan will send out Bosco, Riley, Howard, King, and Rose. Michigan also resting some players for that stretch run. Rodel inbounds the ball in the backcourt to Scott Cherry. The Boston Spa New York senior will bring it front court. Bounces it to Rodel on the right side to Sullivan. Now down to Cherry. Cherry coming left of the lane. Back out front to Rodel. Rodel moving to the left. Dumps it back to Salvadori. Now to Sullivan. Now gets it away to Rodel. Rodel yells out something to his teammates as he passes to Cherry to Salvadori. Left side to Sullivan. In the corner now to Rodel. Back to Scott Cherry. Off to Salvadori. To Sullivan. Ball moving now. They're trying to make the Michigan defense work. Montross double team low post. Sullivan across the top of the defense to Cherry. Cherry pushes it back out front to Rodel. He almost got caught left of the lane. Sullivan off to Rodel. Shot clock is 3. Rodel forces it up and will not go. Tapped outside. It never hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Michigan's ball.
Now, with that lineup in the game, Carolina, you could anticipate, was going to try to move the ball around quickly, make Michigan work defensively, and then get it into Montross. But when the shot clock was winding down and Carolina tried to get it into Eric, Michigan brought 2 people over. Montross had nothing there, kicked it out, and then Rodel couldn't find it.
Cherry's out, Phelps is back in, Rodel goes out, and Williams comes back in. 62-61, Michigan, 6:06 to play in the game. Carolina has led early in this half by as many as 7 at 51-44. The Tar Heels jumped out in front by 5 early. Then Michigan recovered, went up by 10. Carolina wiped that out and led by 6 at the break. Inbounds knocked away Carolina, still Michigan basketball. Juwan Howard handles the inbounds pass against Salvadori. Sullivan coming backcourt to help Phelps. Phelps is fronting Chris Webber now on the inbounds. Webber made the catch. Phelps swiping at the ball. Can't knock it away. He hangs in the backcourt. Webber got it to Howard. Now to Rose, right side. Rose will give it down the sideline now to Bosco. Bosco against Sullivan. Puts the ball to the floor. In a little bit of trouble. Got it to Webber. Well out on the right. He turned and looked at Hightower. The referee said something to him. Dribbles right by the Michigan bench. Almost threw it right by Bosco. He runs it down up the right sideline. Now to King in the midcourt area. Shot clock is at 20, game clock at 5:40 and running down. Michigan with a 1-point lead. Now comes to Howard up high to Bosco over on the left side. Bosco looks low for King, feeds Jalen Rose. He shoots the outside 3 and it's good. What a big 3-pointer by Jalen Rose. His second of the ball game, he's got 12. 65-61, a 4-point Michigan lead. To Montross, over to Donald Williams. He looks low for Salvadori. Goes to Sullivan. Sullivan holds it high. Now looks left, gives it up to Phelps on the left wing. Comes now back to Williams against Michigan's man-to-man. Williams trying to use a Sullivan pick, cannot. Gets it away now to Phelps, back out in the midcourt area. Jalen Rose playing well off of it. Phelps yelling out the offense. He wants Sullivan on the right side. Setting it up now against Jalen Rose. Shot clock's at 15. To Sullivan. Sullivan against Bosco. Foul line. Goes in the corner to Donald Williams. Baseline hanging in the air. Shot's good. Donald Williams knocks in a 2-pointer. 65-63 Michigan. 4:40 to play.
Heels need to stop here.
Jalen Rose knocked away by Phelps, recovered by Sullivan. Sullivan dribbles it away, gets it to Phelps, and it got away from him out of bounds. Phelps took his eye off of it. And Dean Smith just stares at the roof of the Superdome and looks away in frustration. Coming back in, George Lynch and Brian Reese. Boskel is out for Michigan, and Jackson with 4 personals back in for the Wolverines.
George Lynch clapping his hands, talking to his teammates, trying to get them fired up.
6 turnover of the half by Carolina. Tar Heels in the first half, by the way, had but 3. Jalen Rose, right side against Phelps. Howard trying to get by Lynch to King, left side. King to the baseline. Jump shot from there is good. Jimmy King with a big bucket. That is his 15th point of the game, and it's 67-63, back to a 4-point Michigan lead. Tar Heels front court. Phelps wants motion off the ball. Tar Heel fans are coming to their feet behind us. The Michigan fans across the court trying to make a lot of noise. Phelps caught up by Rose on the wing to Lynch, to Williams, now to Reese. Down low to Montross. Montross back out to Phelps. Over to Donald Williams. Jump, shoots the 3. Good! Donald Williams with another big 3. That's his 5th of the night. 3rd of the second half. Carolina within 1. Jalen Rose giving it up to Jackson. Jackson puts it to the floor against Brian Reese. Moving out in the midcourt area, trying to drive on it. Whips it inside to Rose. He fumbled it, coming up the left sideline. Bounced it to Juwan Howard. Howard off to Jackson. In the corner to King. He shoots from there. No good. Williams trying to run it down. Cannot against Juwan Howard. Got it off to Jackson. Jackson will push it right back to King. King to the baseline. Up in the air. No good. Knocked away. Lynch recovered Montross. Outlet to Reese. Reese will give it up to the breaking Derek Phelps. Layup is good. It rolled off the left side of the rim, and Carolina retakes the lead at 68-67. Point number 9 for Phelps. 3:04 left to play in the ball game. Jalen Rose left side. Phelps and Montross on the double team. To Howard. To King. He shoots the 3. No good. It was an air ball. Weber tried to save it right into Donald Williams' hand. He'll give it up to Phelps. Phelps looking for Reese. He couldn't get in the ball as he was breaking down court underneath. Phelps out front on the right side. Jalen Rose stalks him. Now Phelps will move out into the center jump circle. Indicates the Carolina offense with 2:40 left to play in the ball game. Carolina holding a 1-point lead. To George Lynch, left side. Now Lynch will move to the right, hits Reese on the wing. And we get a whistle and a timeout called by Carolina. The Tar Heels call their second timeout. 2:28 to play. Timeout on the floor. Oh, my. Go where you go and do what you do. It's that time. Carolina 68, Michigan 67.
This is shaping up as one of the second halves in tournament history. Carolina shooting 11 of 19, 58%. Michigan shooting 52%. Fouls are way down. Team fouls, Michigan 3, Carolina 2. Carolina turnover 6. Michigan's only turned it over 2 times.
Rudel to inbound the ball. Gets it in the backcourt to Derek Phelps. Carolina with a 1-point lead. 2:25 to go. Walks it across the timeline. Let's see what the veteran Tar Heel coach might have called or set up during that timeout. Down low to Montross. Montross with Weber behind him to Rudel. To Sullivan. To Lynch. George Lynch with Howard behind him. Turns in the lane. Falls away and scores. George Lynch with only his second field goal of the second half. 70-67. Carolina by 3. Rose to Howard. Left side for Michigan. Back out front it comes to Rose. Coach Smith up motioning to his defense to get back. Get back. Jackson giving it up to King. Way over in the right corner it goes to Rose. Rose one dribble, then to Jackson. Jackson down low to Weber. Weber double team, whistle, and what was called? A foul on Pat Sullivan of Carolina. Sullivan commits the personal foul. And that will be his second, and that's the 3rd team foul. Michigan will get the ball at the baseline. Team fouls, 3 Michigan, 3 Carolina. And now getting that ball in bounds becomes of primary importance.
Like it was for the Tar Heels after they called a timeout and Michigan could set their defense. Fouling Weber when he's got it on the blocks with only 3 team fouls on Carolina is not a bad idea. He doesn't shoot free throws well, and you can't let him shoot from there.
Reese and Williams back in. Ball went to King. He loops it up to Juwan Howard. Over the top of him to Rose. Rose against Phelps. Steve Fisher says go left with it, and Rose obeys on the dribble. Bounces it back out front now to King. King matched up against Williams. Inside to Jackson. Now to Jalen Rose. Rose into the lane. Inside. Ball lost. Loose basketball. and Carolina comes up with it. Donald Williams out of there on the dribble. Williams with a steal. Got it to Derek Phelps, and Jalen Rose trips him up. 1:18 to play, and the Tar Heels leading by 3. Phelps slow to get up. Foul on Jalen Rose is his 3rd. 4th team foul. Carolina will have the ball out of bounds, and Michigan will use its 2nd timeout. The Wolverines calling for a timeout. 1:18 to play in the Louisiana Superdome. Timeout on the floor. Carolina 70, Michigan 67.
It's Carolina 70 and Michigan 67. 1:18 left for the national championship. It'll be Carolina's ball following the Michigan timeout. Timeouts remaining are Carolina 1, Michigan 1. And the possession arrow favors the Wolverines. And I need to tell you that Kenan Stadium will be rocking this fall when the Peach Bowl champion Tar Heels come home. So now is the time to get your name on the Carolina Fever list, assuring you of priority notice when the 93 football tickets come out. Write or send a postcard today to Carolina Fever list, P.O. Box 3000, Chapel Hill, 27515.
It might be rocking tomorrow afternoon. Donald Williams has set an NCAA Final Four record.
A record for three-point field goals, Woody. 5 of 7 versus Kansas and 5 of 7 tonight. He's 10 of 14 in 2 games. That breaks Steve Alford's record and Anderson Hunt's record. Alford of Indiana, Anderson Hunt, Vegas.
Donald Williams will inbound the ball against Jalen Rose. George Lynch gets it in the front court. He moves against Juwan Howard, and Howard fouls him. That's number 3 on the Chicago sophomore. 5th team foul against Michigan. Michigan will work hard now to try to get Carolina to the free throw line. And there still are a couple of fouls to give. Now Rodell's in to replace Williams. Rodell will inbound against Jalen Rose. Rodell holds it, looking, pushes it to George Lynch. He loops it cross court to Montross. He'll give it back out front to Phelps. And Phelps is fouled by Michael Talley, and that's 16 foul. Foul on Talley becomes his 1st. So the next one will put Carolina in the bonus with 1:10 to play, and Carolina has still got 3 fouls to give.
Correct. That was an 8-second possession by Carolina.
Well, now Coach Smith is motioning something to Donald Williams, who sets up on the right side as Brian Reese will inbound right in front of the scorer's table. Next Michigan foul will put the Tar Heels at the line. Ed Hightower, the referee, hands Brian Reese the basketball. Williams cutting. Brian Reese got to get rid of it. He goes deep in the backcourt to Derek Phelps. Phelps against Chris Webber. Knocked away by Webber, out of bounds. It'll be Carolina ball. 1:05 remaining to play. Carolina 70, Michigan 67. Steve Fisher up indicating the defense he wants the Wolverines to employ here on this inbounds play. Reese will inbound the basketball. Got to get rid of it. Finally got it to Lynch. Lynch streaking front court. Will turn toward the left sideline. Drops it off to Montross with a dunk behind Juwan Howard. What a play by the Tar Heels. 16 for Montross, 72-67. Jalen Rose to Howard. Right side to King. Off it goes to Jackson, and his 2-pointer. It's a 2-pointer, not a 3, and Michigan uses its last timeout. Ray Jackson on the basket, and so a timeout on the floor, 46 seconds left. Carolina 72, Michigan 69.
Ray Jackson hits a 2. That makes it a 3-point game. Michigan is out of timeouts. Possession arrow still favors them, and 46 seconds remain. It'll be Carolina ball.
Officials immediately motioned to the scoreboard, counted it a 3. It had gone to 72-70. Ed Hightower went immediately to the table. It was changed to a 2, 72-69.
And if you want to see highlights of this game, watch the Dean Smith television show this coming Sunday statewide on affiliates like WBT Charlotte and WECT Wilmington, NCT in Greenville, TVD Raleigh-Durham, HNS Asheville, and GHP in the Triad.
George Lynch will inbound off the baseline in the Tar Heel backcourt. 46 seconds remain, 72-69. Webber will play Lynch. He runs the baseline, trying to get it in. Got it into Brian Reese, and he traveled with it. Or stepped on the sideline. Brian Reese turns it over for Carolina. And George Lynch simply points a finger to his right temple, indicating to his teammate, Brian, you need to think. Think of where you are and what the situation is. Salvadori's in. Montross is out. Rodell is in. Williams goes out. Malenka will inbound the ball. Carolina, remember, has 3 fouls to give. 45 seconds left, 72-69. Carolina leading by 3. Reese is out, Sullivan is in.
Yeah, I think one thing they're doing is getting some players in the game that they can use to foul.
Reese sits down on a bench, and Bill Guthridge reaches out and pats him on the knee and says something to him, and Coach Smith walks down and says something to him as well, I think, to boost his confidence. Carolina packed back inside. Here's Rose for 3. No good. They battle for it. Weber with the stick back. 72-71. Lynch running the baseline. Got it inbounds to Sullivan. He gets it now to Salvadori. Away now to Rodel. Rodel down on the left side. Will come back out front with 25 seconds left. Lynch, Phelps to Sullivan. Sullivan in trouble, and he gets hammered by Pelinka. Rodel wanted an intentional foul from Jim Stupin and Ed Hightower, but didn't get it. So Pat Sullivan, a 79.7% free throw shooter, will go to the line on Michigan's 7th team foul.
Remember, the Wolverines are out of timeout, so they cannot ice him. The only 2 spots on the lane that must be occupied are the 2 inside spots. Michigan will, of course, get those. The thing the Tar Heels don't want to do here, obviously, if there's a miss, they'd like to get the rebound, but they do not want to foul the Wolverines.
Pat Sullivan, the junior from Bogota, New Jersey, at the foul line. 1 of 2 from the field tonight for 2 points. Ed Hightower making sure both sides of the lane understand 1-1. 20 seconds left to play. Sullivan given the ball. Couple of dribbles. Bends his knees. Pushes it up. Good!
Dean Smith gave it to just the clench fist and a short little thrust after that one went in. Sullivan is an excellent free throw shooter.
73-71. Coach Smith walks right to the edge of the coach's box. Montross waiting to get in if this free throw is good. 20 seconds remain. Sullivan shooting to give Carolina a 3-point lead. Sullivan's free throw is no good. Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. And Weber, front court. Carolina thought he'd travel with it. Weber, front court. Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul on Michigan. They're out of timeouts. They're out of timeouts. It's a technical foul. 2 shots in possession of the ball. With 11 seconds remaining.
By rule, the clock will be stopped if you call for a timeout and have none remaining. You're granted a timeout, but it is at the expense of a technical foul. It's not over yet.
Carolina bench erupted when Weber had the ball in the backcourt, thinking he had traveled, trying to get front court on the dribble. Donald Williams will go to the foul line, and Coach Smith wants everybody except Williams to come, and now he wants Donald. He says, Donald, come here.
Yeah, it's not over. This game is not over yet. Carolina with a 2-point lead, and they need 2 free throws to really make things feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, they need to make 2 free throws here and then get the ball in bounds. It will be possession of the ball to Carolina. Chris Weber trapped down in the right corner, calling a timeout when Michigan didn't have one left. And now Carolina uses its last timeout. So there's, well, what do you think, Mick? Let's stay at the Superdome.
Yeah, let's stay.
Yeah. 11 seconds remain. Carolina 73, Michigan 71.
Well, the Tar Heels will have their best foul shooter at the line in Donald Williams. And they do not want to.
Carolina had led by 7 in this half early on at 51-44 after wiping out a 10-point deficit in the first half. Then the Tar Heels trailed by 4 at 67-63, but then went on a run to retake the lead. And it is now a 73-71 game. Only 3 team fouls for Carolina.
They went on an 11-4 run to get the lead.
They're coming by now to collect the NCAA All-Tournament team for the Final Four, on which is also written a Most Outstanding Player. And if you wanted to know who I voted for, well, I voted for Eric Montross, George Lynch, Donald Williams, Chris Weber, and Jalen Rose.
I voted for all of those same, except for, I think I put Lynch on instead of Rose, and I voted for Donald Williams as the most valuable player of the tournament.
So did I. 11 seconds remain.
All right, here's what's getting ready to happen. The free throw, the administration of the free throw, there will be no players from either team in the lane. So Donald will be all by himself for 2. If he makes it, if he makes 2, then all the Tar Heels have to do is inbound the ball, and they're in pretty good shape. If he makes both, it'll be a 2-possession game at that point, a 4-point game. Michigan would need to score twice in 11 seconds in order to win it. And they'd need a turnover. They'd need to steal it away from Carolina to do so. Here we go.
Williams, first time at the foul line. He's 8 of 12 on the night, 5 of 7 3-pointers. He has set a Final Four record for 3-pointers. The Garner sophomore arches it up. Good. 74-71. Donald Williams with 22 points, his 4th straight game of better than 20-point scoring. This could make it a 4-point lead, and does. 75-71. The guy who averaged only 4 minutes a game last year and scored but 2 points a game. Lynch will inbound for Carolina. Got it into Donald Williams. Williams gets fouled on the play by Weber. Third personal against Weber. 8th team foul Carolina. Williams is back to the line with 8 seconds remaining. This could put it away and make the Tar Heels the national champions. But there are still 8 seconds left.
Yeah, and the fact that the celebration hasn't erupted yet is out of respect for Michigan. They can score points in a hurry, but the Tar Heels are, you'd a whole lot rather be Carolina right now than you would be Michigan.
Carolina will just get out of the way as Donald Williams goes back to the line. 23 points tonight for the Garner sophomore, who came into the game averaging 14 points. Against Kansas on Saturday, 7 of 11 shooting for 25 points. In the first meeting between these two teams in Hawaii, he went 4 of 11 for 15 points, and 2 of 6 3-pointers. Donald Williams' free throw is good. 76-71. And the party is ready to begin on Franklin Street. 8 seconds remaining. Bill Ford and Randy Wheeler beside themselves on the Carolina bench. They're both good. I mean, all of them were cleanly through. 77-71. Carolina will just get out of the way. Jalen Rose for 3. No good. Front of the rim. Lynch with a rebound. Outlet to Phelps. It's over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship right where they won it 11 years ago in the Crescent City in New Orleans. Carolina 77, Michigan 71. And who said Dean Smith wouldn't win the big one again?
North Carolina has won the national championship 77-71, and Dean Smith, congratulations to you and the Tar Heels. This is your town now. 2 national championships with 11 seconds to go when Chris Webber called timeout. Did you realize the consequences right away?
I was probably a little slow. Like 2 seconds. I remember they didn't have no timeouts, but I don't know why he was. He was getting double teamed in the corner, wasn't he?
Right.
And, of course, we still would have a good chance to win anyway. I really don't want to say, well, that's another fluke.
Well, you went on a 16-6 run to close out the game. How did you guys do it?
Well, Donald Williams really made some baskets, and we were fortunate, too. They missed some easy shots, but I'm so proud of their competitive spirit of our team.
Coach, let me ask you, we're sitting there watching this game, the ebb and flow, and it looked like both of your coaches are saying, hey, I want to have my team fresh down the wire. I mean, you took some pretty calculated gambles.
It is so funny. Our main goal was to wear them out, and I think they wore us out. They're a great team, and we're fortunate to have won.
How about if we get some of your guys in here?
Yeah, right here. Donald Williams.
Had a great game.
Donald, you made another 5 out of 7 3-point shots.
For the stars were shining moment. Yes,
That's coming up. We got it for you, Pat. It's coming up later, but tell us about some of the shining moments in your outside shooting.
Well, I started off a little nervous in the game, but my teammates and coaches really talked to me. And as the game went on, I felt really confident, and my shots started falling.
Billy's got a question for you.
No, I want to ask George Lynch. Where's George?
George Lynch, come on, George.
Come to Chopper Hill, baby. Come to Chopper Hill.
When did you give the emotional speech tonight to say that this is one you guys wanted to get for Coach Smith?
Well, I gave it, we're talking to him the whole time, let him know at the last 40 seconds that, it went down to the wide in Hawaii, and we didn't want him to get a rebound and a shot to upset us.
Hey, Eric, we saw your dad up there waving that North Carolina jacket of his. Will he be welcome at a Michigan Alumni Association meeting?
That's pretty good for a Michigan alum, isn't it?
Hey, guys, I know at the East Regionals you did not cut down the nets. Are they coming down tonight? All right. Go after it. Congratulations, North Carolina, the national champion.
Here is the chairman of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee, Mr. Tom Butters.
On behalf of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee, I first would like to congratulate both ball clubs, not only for their excellent play tonight, but throughout the tournament. And now it's my pleasure to present the National Championship Trophy to Coach Smith and the University of North Carolina. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Here we go. The senior. That's the senior. Congratulations to the North Carolina basketball squad. Thank you all for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the NCAA, we thank you for your support of NCAA basketball. Good evening.
There you are, you're running for your life, you're a shooting star, and all the years no one knows just how hard you worked, but now it shows. In one shining moment you reach deep inside, one shining moment your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race. Your best, 'cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reach for the sky, one shining moment you knew, one shining moment you were willing to try. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment.
When you look for champions, you look to CBS Sports.
WRAL PD5, Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville. From North Carolina's news leader, this is the 11 o'clock news with Charlie Gaddy, Donna Gregory, meteorologist Greg Fischel, and Tom Suter with sports. This is WRAL PD5 News.
Up short again. There you have it, North Carolina.
With that, Coach Dean Smith and his Carolina Tar Heels seal the national championship and their place in sports history. Good evening, I'm Charlie Gaddy. UNC clinched the #1 spot by beating Michigan tonight 77-71. And as those final seconds ticked away, the Tar Heel faithful poured onto Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. The unofficial party place to celebrate a big win. Deborah Morgan spent the day on Franklin Street, and Deborah, has the rain dampened that celebration? It doesn't seem to have at all.
Oh, Charlie, not at all. It's absolutely unbelievable here. It's raining, it's cold, but there are just thousands and thousands of people out here on Franklin Street. They're setting off fireworks, they've started bonfires, and it is blocked off for several blocks here. It is just packed wall to wall with people. Now, earlier we spent the game looking at how the other Carolina fans watched the game here on Franklin Street. As Carolina tipped off in New Orleans, their fans back on Franklin Street felt as if they were there. They hung on to every play, cheering on their Tar Heels, who haven't won a national championship since 1982. By beating Michigan, they could have the #1 title again, and the fans were ready.
Everybody's having a great time, fun, and we're watching the game, and I mean, it's so cool because nobody's like getting up and socializing. It's watch the game, be support for the fellas, and then go party when we win it.
The place in Chapel Hill to feel the rush of Carolina spirit is on Franklin Street. Police officers towed cars in preparation for a victory party tonight. Bars served beer in cups and cans to limit the number of bottles being thrown after the game. Franklin Street celebrations are so notorious that people drive long distances to be a part of it.
And they say in '82 Franklin Street was rocking, so we drove here for an hour to see what kind of party is going to be going on tonight.
But now you're having a tough time getting in?
Yeah, the places are full right now, but we'll get in.
Well, you'd have a tough time getting into this crowd right now, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind having company. They say a picture says 1,000 words, and Charlie, this is it. It's crazy. It's great. People are celebrating here on Franklin Street. They couldn't be happier.
I know they couldn't. This newscast is going to be a lot of fun for all the Tar Heel fans, wherever they may be. Thank you. One of the best places in Chapel Hill to have watched the big game had to be Carmichael Auditorium. It was the home of the Tar Heels before they built the Dean Dome. Jim Payne joins us now live from Carmichael. And Jim, I imagine the place has cleared out. Look behind you. My goodness.
Yeah, Charlie, I tell you, they've got the cleaning crews out here. The big screen is already down, and it's amazing. Just as fast as they filed in here, they filed out of here, probably headed over to Franklin Street to join the rest of the crowd. You know, 7,500 strong, on their feet for most of the second half, and I'll tell you, most of them are ready to hoist another banner in the Dean Dome. 7,500 strong jam into Carmichael Auditorium, the old home of Carolina basketball when the Heels last took it all in '82. Men decked out from head to toe in Carolina blue. Carolina jumps out to the early lead, but the Fab Five comes back with a host of threes and an 18-4 run, and the crowd loses some of its drive as the Heels go down by 10. But the tide turns. The Heels come back to tie, then lead by 6 at half.
Donald Williams did pretty good on the move, and we got to rebound better.
I'm trying to study during
during halftime and a little bit before the game, but it's too exciting during the game to study.
They try to make every single shot they can. His D, everything else.
Second half, nip and tuck till the last few seconds. The Heels take to the foul line, take charge, and take the national championship. Now, while the celebration is more than likely going on Franklin Street till the wee hours of the morning, the plans are already underway for the team's return tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock on the 5 o'clock First News, we'll have live reports from Kenan Stadium, where the big welcoming ceremony will be back for the national champions. And, Charlie, I'll be there to bring it all live to you, and looking forward to it a lot. I know you are, Jim, and what you can do now is just lock up the old auditorium, and we'll go on here. Thank you very much for your coverage tonight.